no joke right there. I'm so serious. Why so serious? Little joke. Just let her know when you want to be serious. Cause when you want to be serious, I'm gonna play around, and when you want to play around, I'm gonna be serious. And if we want to play around and be serious at the same time, I'm just gonna walk off and be serious and playing around while I'm being serious. Because I'm just playing around, cause I'm never serious.
Why, you been feeling good?
No, I ain't been feeling it bad. But I thank God for being as well as here.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, BizZy BalBoa. Welcome to the Get to Know Me podcast. Roll it up, twist it up, and light it, because it's about to go down. Welcome to the Get to Know Me podcast. Go ahead and roll it, twist it, light it, get your coffee or your tea, meditate, pray, sage the building. You never know what may be said over the airways of the Get to Know Me podcast platform. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is BizZy BalBoa. Welcome back to my regular audience. Y'all already know what it is. We have a special guest. He's out of Fresno, California right now, and the music is crazy. I loved getting to know him. His personality was just impressive, definitely. And the whole purpose of this show is to make sure that we're actually investing into these artists by streaming them, sharing them, buying merch. However, we got to get involved into that movement. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And y'all know I took a little break from doing the interviews, but I'm back. You know, the first guest I had back was MC Inca, and now we back with another guest, and it's going to continue. And it's all about showing love and spreading that, positivity and just getting the information out there. So if it's your first time, I would love if you come back, every Saturday. Sometimes I have guests on, sometimes it's just me talking, giving some insight on life and things that I take my perspective on things. But we have different people on here, not just rap artists. We have different people, I'm saying, all kind of people. So get involved with the show. Actively listen to these artists, listen to me, get invested into me and everything that I got going on. And the biggest way you can do that is by coming back every Saturday and listening to this show. But I like I said, I enjoyed this interview, and I know you all will too. I don't like to waste too much time before the interview, but I just wanted to say that it was great getting to know Agent, and I hope that he comes back to the podcast. And I hope that you all stay tuned throughout the entire interview. At the end, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and what I got going on. So I would appreciate that if you guys stay tuned all the way to the end. But other than that, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone above and anyone in between, get ready for our guest, Agent. All right, welcome to the Get to Know Me podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have a special guest. We have Mr. Agent in the building. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for your time. I definitely was excited to do this interview, especially after listening to your music. The music, man, I can't wait to talk about that part.
Oh man, thank you.
Incredible. I like to kind of pop it off with, like an introduction about you, the meaning behind your name and where you're from.
Okay. Well, I go by Agent. I do rap in Spanish, so I also go by Agente, which is the Spanish translation.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the origin of my name is, really when I was kind of getting into like hip hop and hip hop culture and kind of listening deep into the music and like noticing like, different types of hip hop and like just like getting very kind of detailed and like kind of learning the culture more and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually doing graffiti under the name Agent. And so it's kind of like the graph culture is kind of like you're undercover, like you have a name, like an alias.
Yeah.
Right. And nobody really knows it except for kind of like the graph world and like, because not only is it like an illegal thing to go and, tag and catch tags and all that. That's part of why it's a low key thing. So it just kind of went, I just like the name Agent. And when I started rapping, I was kind of into like what people call like underground hip hop.
Uh-huh.
And so like I just kind of kept, I just kind of kept the name, and I felt like it kind of went. Um, but what it really means is it actually means like what it means if you Google it, and that's kind of why I decided to keep it, because I think it's representative of my music. And so an agent is a representative. An agent is someone who represents. So either for themselves, their culture, on another's behalf, like even like, people like actors have agents,
That's right.
right? So really it means to be a representative. It
Wow.
means to be active in your cause.
Uh-huh.
And so whether that's like chemically, an agent is something that causes a reaction, like when you mix it with something else, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's like an active ingredient, but
That's so dope. Like,
yeah,
this is a dope ass name. Like, the more and more you break it down, I'm like, what? Like, yeah, that is so fire. That was genius. Agent. I love that.
yeah, I thought it through. It's actually like if you Google the word agent, the three definitions are what my name means, and what I think like my music represents. Because the third one is to try to when you do something, naturally try like looking for results or certain outcomes, or like
Uh-huh.
to invoke like a reaction. And that's what you're doing as an MC. You're trying to make that connection with the
Right. That
crowd.
connection and get that reaction. That's amazing. I love
Yeah.
that name. I'm like, damn, I should have thought so deeper with my name.
I'm glad
Everyone
you
has
like that.
amazing stories behind their names. Like, it's incredible. That's dope.
At first, it was just kind of like, oh, it just sounds like underground, and that's kind of like the style I'm into as far as like music and art and
Uh-huh.
all that. And like kind of not mainstream, kind of like nuanced, real cultured, real grassroots, and so
Yeah.
um yeah. But then I was like, well, what thinking about like what does my name actually mean, and then I'm like, oh, well, it means what it means, so it
Yeah.
makes sense. I don't know if I kind of forethought it or something, but
Right. It's like
um
so amazing because it's like it is what it is, and it's not overcomplicated. It's like it's like such a dope and well represented name because it is
yeah, yeah.
representation.
Yeah, it means to rep. It means to
Yeah, it's
represent,
hard. That's
So
dope. Okay.
yeah,
I like
yeah,
that name. I love the Spanish agente. Is that right? Agente?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah.
Are
Yeah,
you
I like
originally
the
from
Spanish
Dago?
too.
Are you from Dago?
No, no, no. I'm actually from. Well, I like to say I'm from Mexico originally because I was born in Mexico. So I'm from Mexico, but my hometown is Sanger, California, which is
Okay.
in the San Joaquin Valley, Central Cali, Fresno County.
Mm.
And so that's where I started rapping. I really started rapping in Sanger, California. So that's what I consider like my hometown as
Yeah,
far as
your
like
home.
as an
Okay.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because of the experiences, like just the experiences that I had growing up in Sanger are really what inspired me to rap. That's where I, just kind of my persona as an artist,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I came to be kind of like who I am, and so
Uh-huh.
I credit Sanger as my hometown. Yeah.
That's dope. How long have you been in San Diego? Like, are you currently in San Diego? Because I know I
No,
seen something about
no,
San Diego.
Oh no, well, San Diego. I shot a music video in San Diego because San Diego is right next to the border of Mexico.
So
So
you travel through a lot going back or what?
yeah, well, no, actually, I went to the border because there was a mural of
Mm,
me and a couple other people that was painted on the fence between the U.S. and Mexico. And so I went out there. Yeah, actually, um, I went out there to just to film a video highlighting and showcasing, like the mural, and kind of talking about, just expressing myself and my journey as a first generation, like undocumented immigrant, and kind of,
wow.
what that's like.
Yeah.
And so that's really what the mural represents. It's a lot of folks that are
Okay.
undocumented in their stories. It's called digital storytelling.
Yeah. I was about to say, because I know I was on your page, like, trying to do some research and stuff. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, like, I ain't know that. That's incredible, man.
So
That's
that's what I was doing in San Diego. I was like,
okay.
I gotta go out there and
Yeah, that
like
was big. You had to do that. That's
yeah,
incredible.
I had to do that. So Yeah. So
Man,
yeah, but I'm from like Fresno County
that's
area.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's
Fresno's where I
dope,
currently
man.
live.
So that's where you at right now? What's the
Yeah, that's
music
where I'm at
scene
right now.
like that? Like out in Fresno, like what's the music scene like?
Um, it's a lot of things. I've recently been thinking about, well, what like kind of like what is a music scene,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like what do people mean by the music scene? Like is it just there's definitely a lot of culture. There's a
Okay.
lot of music happening, a lot of artists happening,
Good.
um, a lot of different genres. There's events. We have everything from festivals to small venue concerts. We have open mics. We
Okay.
have
Well,
like
there's
spoken word.
definitely activity there.
There's a lot of activity. Um, and at the same time, I've been just gradually learning more about how like the music scene works, how to like how to network like certain like yeah, just how everything is yeah, just how it works to be an artist,
Yeah.
how to start to like create markets, like
Yeah.
just be a little more business minded about it.
Yeah.
And that's recently what was been kind of my I don't want to say emphasis, but like been placing more attention on that.
Yes.
And so yeah, but we got a vibrant, and a live music scene out here in Fresno.
That's
And
good.
I was kind of Sanger was where I grew up, is a little bit outside of Fresno, but Fresno's kind of like the hub. There's a lot of small cities, and Fresno's one of the larger cities, so
Right.
artists from all the other cities kind of come here. And so yeah, there's a lot. There's kind of like I would say, I don't know what you would call it, like a revolving like influence, and kind of you get taste of other artists from the other surrounding cities too, and all that.
That's big. And I like that you said that also about like kind of like focusing a lot more on the business aspect, like the marketing and networking and things like that. Because as an artist, a lot of times whenever I do interview artists, that's something that is not a big focus whenever it should be. Like we have to be all kind of different people at one time, but we definitely have to be business oriented all the time. Because like, I mean, if nobody does it harder than you, then you can't really expect anyone to give you that. You have to push out that energy that you want back. And these little steps that you take, these are seeds being planted, like interviews and different things like that, because you're way in Fresno, but I'm learning about you. You know what I mean? Like that's networking. That's the key. I love that. I love whenever I speak to people that are actually like trying to find their own way, because there's so many different ways to put yourself out there. I don't feel like there's one way to necessarily be an artist or whatever you want to call it or whatever
Oh
we're
yeah,
trying,
no, yeah.
it's so many
Mhm.
different ways. So commends to you for taking that step and taking it further. Nobody's gonna believe in you as much as you, so that's dope.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
dope.
do like you gotta do all you can and everything you can.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's things, and also at the same time, if there's things you can't do, you
Right.
don't feel like you have to do that. Like if you say, oh, why
Facts.
didn't I'm not doing tours, or I'm not doing this, that doesn't mean that you're not progressing.
That's so true.
It doesn't mean that that's what you're missing. I mean, it could be at the same time too, right? Maybe it's good
Right.
to be aware, like, okay, I gotta work a little more on my like engaging with people, or my branding, my marketing, or like just being consistent and releasing stuff. And so, but at the same time, it does, there's no one like necessary solution. But I think everybody has different goals too, and
Yes. Yes.
what you think of success and not success and all that too. I think that's
Very true.
important too.
Yes.
Yeah, to
That's
think
why
about
I
that.
don't give advice and opinions, because your definition of success could be completely different from mine. Who am I to tell you that you're doing something wrong? And one of my audio engineering instructors kind of told me that he pulled up one of my sessions and he was like, "You're peaking in some areas, but it sounds good. And who am I to say that you did it wrong if it sounds good?" And I was like, "Wow,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you know what I mean? That kind of freed me from being so harsh on myself. Like it has to be this way. Do what's in your means,
And
until you
that's
can do
part
it."
of believing in yourself too,
Yeah.
because like I've I've literally had like tension and arguments with engineers one time sometimes when they're like, well, this doesn't sound right. It's like it's not landing on beat. I'm like, it's not supposed to land on beat,
Hmm.
And they're like,
Right.
well, I'm just telling you, I don't like how I'm like, well, you don't think it sounds like that, but I
Right.
like how it sounds,
Yeah.
right? You know,
This is my art and how I hear it and see it and picture it. So who are you to tell me it's wrong?
yup, and you know, this is how it sounds good to me, like it's supposed to land to me. You know,
Yeah.
the whole supposed to part comes from you. How's it supposed
Right.
to? Like that comes from you as the artist. So
That's so true. I respect that. What would you say your particular skill is? Are you would you consider yourself a rapper? What type of artist are you? Like what type of music do you produce?
I consider myself an MC
Okay.
more than anything. A rapper, I don't know. I don't feel too connected to the term rapper. I
Hmm.
know people do usually, but I feel more connected to the term MC. Um, I guess I consider myself a speaker, like
Yeah.
a person that connects with people,
Yeah.
like through music. But to me, like music and life for one, like music and hip hop is one. Like people used to like wear shirts like I am hip hop,
Hmm.
right? And so there like there could be a debate about, well, what is hip hop, what is not hip hop, and like there's no one thing that is hip hop, but there's also nothing you can exclude from being hip hop.
That's so true.
And so to me, like I'm an MC. I consider myself an MC, and I make music, but I'm focused on connecting with people.
Mm.
And even on a basic level, that's what works for business. Even if you're thinking about it in business terms, that's what works for if you're not thinking about it in business terms. If you're doing it just for the love or for
Mm.
the passion, or if you're doing it for both reasons or for whatever happens, that's my kind of my basic grounding. You know, just I just make music. I just keep it real and genuine, and
Yeah.
whatever I guess I do what I think is dope. I mean, I get influenced, right? But like every
Yeah.
artist gets influenced.
Yeah.
All the greatest artists were, they
Exactly.
have
That's so
to
true.
credit their influences, and their inspiration bases and all that. But yeah, so that's how I consider myself an MC at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And
because I feel
I
like
get that vibe from you. Like more of an MC
Mhm.
because even when I listen to your music, it's more relatable. It's more like in tune. I feel connected. I feel like it's on, it's deep. It's not like, oh, this is a rapper. Like I feel you when you say I feel more connected to the term MC because that's how I felt listening to you. I didn't feel like, oh, this is a rapper. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm into rapping, but I'm not. I'm more into MCing than rapping because it's like a different level of connection to me. Like it's just me, right? Every person is just this is just an opinion or this is just my perspective or whatever, but my experience. But I like rapping is cool, and
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'm into rapping necessarily, like because I feel like you can be a nerd about rapping and you're like, okay, I can rap great, and like,
Yeah.
well, how much are you actually saying though? Like, and at the same time, you can say a lot with the little.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
and word choice comes into it, and how genuine it is, and how it comes across, and how does it have that follow through where people kind of. I feel like a lot of times, I mean, I'm not like a psychic or anything, but I feel like I can tell a lot of times I can feel out how genuine an artist is being,
Yeah.
and yeah, a lot of times I would like more revealing in some artists and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
again, I'm doing the same thing listeners do,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
having my own interpretation and
Of what?
perspective and
Yep.
all
That's
that.
so true.
So I
That's
know
true.
people are gonna, I know people might have like ideas of me and like, oh, he's this type of rapper, he's that type of rapper. For the sake of stuff like that, I mean, I guess I could put myself in a couple of like soundscapes or like kind of genres and all that.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I consider it limitless because
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I can sing. I think I can do any genre of music. I think everybody can sing.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
true. We can,
And yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
Just like drawing, we all can draw if we just take the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I think everybody that has at least some tones and ranges where they can sing and they feel like, it feels good to them and
That's
sounds
true.
good.
Are
Yeah.
you at a point right now? Do you feel like this is something that you want to do like on a professional, like career level, or is this just something you're always going to be doing? You've always done. Like, how do you feel about it?
All three of them. I'm already
Mm,
because I'm already a professional.
is
Like
thank you, thank you.
yeah, I've been a professional in some ways from the jump, and in some ways not,
Okay.
right? And some days I'm becoming more professional or more career oriented. So I think there's a separation
Uh-huh.
between professional and career, and there also is not, because it takes being professional, taking yourself serious, and all,
Right. To even have a
conducting
career.
yourself professionally to build a
Yeah.
career, right? Where there's some financial, stability in it or returns in it and all that. And I consider this as something I'm gonna do lifelong.
Mm.
Like, whether I set expectations and or not, and whether I meet expectations or not. I mean, I'm as professional as it gets, and it's kind of, is what I would like to share on this topic is that I have talked with, rapped for, freestyled with artists that make their entire living off of music, that had a professional, that did the worldwide tours,
Yeah.
that did all that, right? And I've seen that, I've heard the stories of how they go about creating their music and all that, and I'm like, that's me.
Mm.
That's like, it's kind of validating, because I'm like, man, I've been going about it like a professional artist, but also a professional artist is not one thing,
Right. That's
right?
so true.
Like,
Hmm.
sometimes we think like, oh, it's taking me a long time to finish this song, or it's taking me a long time to do this. It's like, you when you see documentaries of artists, and when you see artists and greats, you see that a lot of times they went through the same things you went through,
Yep.
you know? And and so that's why you know, I would say all three of them. I've always been a professional. I do
Yeah.
have aspirations to make it, make it a career,
Yeah.
um, make my own career, because there's no one model. I do a lot of other work
Okay. Yeah.
that is connected to like the messages in my music. Like, I do some activism, I do some community work.
Yeah.
I have a job I have a career. I
Yeah.
have a job, an occupation, and so that doesn't mean I'm not an artist and I'm not an MC, and I don't have a
Yes.
career as an artist either.
Yeah.
Like, people have ventures, just artists. They maybe their first pop off was the music, but then they went into clothes and they went into this and all that, right? If my first pop off was a career, and I'm developing my music at the same time, like, who's to say I'm not an artist or I'm not as professional and all that? Like, that's neither here nor there. And so I think of it in terms as that.
Yeah, well worded. When I first started doing this podcast, I remember people telling me, "Well, you don't want to oversaturate yourself. You don't want to be
Mhm.
the artist, and you want to, you interviewing artists and all of that." But honestly, I'm like, I've always been into this type of field. Like, this is what my mom always encouraged me to do. I went to the Art Institute for Advertising, and I'm into sales in my personal life. In my professional life, I'm into IT. So it's like talking to people and building relationships and doing all of this stuff. This is what I love. Like, even if I wasn't a music artist, I probably would have ended up doing some type of podcast or radio type of thing. I love it. And I agree with you. There's no one or type of way to be professional or to get in this industry. The more you put yourself out there, you never really know what could be your thing. Like you said, it could be anything that actually opens that door to you getting to other places. And we see it all the time with producers, with rappers turned producers, with, I mean, even with Kanye West, with the documentary that he's doing right now. Like, it's, you don't want to put yourself in one position. And a while ago, it was an engineer that was recording for Mariah Carey. And he said that she went through a period where she didn't want to record. And that was the only person he was recording. So he was like, he learned very quickly that you don't need to have all your eggs in one basket per se. So I totally agree with you with, doing what you love, just whatever you want to do, as long as you have that passion, why not?
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
love it.
and a lot of times money, I don't think money is always tied to a career. A career,
Right.
is like a lifelong, it could be in lifelong development.
Yeah.
And so money's not always tied to a career, not necessarily.
Right.
So, if I'm not making a certain amount of money from music, or if I am, that doesn't necessarily dictate whether I have a
A
career.
career. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
true. Because if you're seeing if you're putting in the work and you're seeing a response from it, sometimes you may not see the actual income, but you have an active career in this field. I've seen it so many times. So I mean, we're doing what we love, and how can anybody say that that's not a career when you're
Yeah,
doing what you love?
yeah.
That's the definition, you
And
know?
I'm working on just you making that more, marketing myself more in that aspect too, right?
Yeah,
Like, you can book me for shows, but you could also book me for workshops, mental health workshops, speaking engagements, trainings, you
that
know,
would be
and
amazing. That's amazing.
so, or a combination of those,
Right.
and so there's a lot of artists that have done it. There's other artists that go into speaking circuits, or like
Yeah.
have taught a class at a university, which is another thing that I want to do
Right.
as well.
That would
Um,
be amazing. I know Parker Edison. He's one of the artists out here in San Diego that he is like a professor at the college, but he raps and he does this music thing. And I'm like, that is so dope. Like, I like people that you don't put yourself in a box. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You're
no doubt.
yourself in every aspect of your life. I love it.
That's what I try to embody, like, just being myself unapologetically.
Yeah. What would you
Yeah.
say? Like, you have so much knowledge and wisdom. I can feel it so far. There's so many lessons in life, but what do you feel like some of the greatest lessons you've learned so far, whether it be personally or, in this industry or anything?
Well, it's interesting how you start out the question kind of saying that I have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, because this is kind of one you probably heard before, but I think what one important thing to keep in mind is you could know a lot, but there's also equally as much, if not more, that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So just to know that you don't know, because a lot of times assumptions can be a motherfucker. They can
Yeah. I always
negative
say
assumptions.
assumptions are the devil. That's what
Yeah,
I say.
exactly. Yeah, or like, nah, that can't happen. It's like it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
You see other artists. It's like, okay, you can be working, grinding, and you're doing this, that, and maybe you don't see the results you're expecting, and all of a sudden a turn comes right here, and you're like, oh damn, how I did not expect that trajectory.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so yeah, just to never say if you don't really know,
Yeah.
because
Never.
there's a lot fewer things that exist, that are like facts, and even like the idea of fact. Well, facts to who, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's an important thing, like your perspective on things. Always trust your gut, your judgment, your intuition, and your perspective, but also always, it's okay to feel doubt at times, to feel nervous at times. I'm the type of person where I don't want to preach one thing either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm a very non-judgmental person. I don't like to judge anybody. I
Yeah.
used to. I could say I've gone through a period of like, I used to be kind of like, I don't like people just rapping about money, cars, and clothes. It's like, well, it may not be my preference to hear that content, but and I mean, it's okay to critique and to express my thoughts. Some of my
Yeah.
thoughts are my
Yeah.
music and different things, just everything. A lot of things that maybe come off as a critique or this or that, but also don't judge it.
Yeah.
I also can value it and
Mm-hmm.
understand it. And so that's the way I carry myself as far as like my philosophy. Either I'm always open to hearing, always remain open.
Yeah.
Always remain open. You're never gonna know everything, because I always keep myself open. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I feel like I kind of get that a lot. People tell me I have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all do.
Yeah. We
If
do.
we yeah, if we just try to be the best version of ourselves, if we just try to be our best selves and just do the best that we can, at the end of the day, that's all we can do,
That's so
right?
true. Yeah.
But when you're not doing the best you can, when you know you can do better and you're in
Mm-hmm.
denial and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, I would say always challenge that. Allow yourself to critique yourself. Be real with yourself.
Yeah.
Be real with yourself. That's why I always remain open, because hey, at times gaining knowledge to me felt like a privilege, as far as like taking time to read and things like that, like leisurely reading.
Yeah.
To me, that wasn't really like it felt like it could be a privilege that some people have, and it's not always a financial privilege,
Mm-hmm.
but just not everybody's situation when you're surviving and you're like, your mind is occupied with other things. It's like, but that doesn't mean you're not wise or knowledgeable. If
That's
just
so
because you didn't
true.
go to college doesn't mean you're not knowledgeable or wiser either. You can be wiser than people that have degrees.
Very true. Very true. I
And
love that.
so always remain open. I always remain open. I'm always open. You know, if you show me something that helps me see something differently, then I appreciate that and I remain open to that. You know,
Yeah.
we're always a work in progress.
Yes.
That's another thing I say. We're always a work in progress.
I love that. I'm not too hard on myself, so I'm never too hard on other people. I just had that
Mhm.
conversation earlier. Like I used to feel like I used to come up with things and like maybe somebody would come in to my job and I'm like, "Oh, well why would he do that? Or why would he say that?" But then now I'm looking at things like you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what's going on. I'm never
Mhm.
too hard on people anymore cuz so much is going
Mhm.
on and so much is always going on in people's lives. You never really know, what they don't know, you never know. So I'm with you on that. Always remain open. I'm very open like
Mhm.
when it comes to that. I love that one. That's a good one. What do you feel like as a listener, an audience can gain from your skill, your art, the things that you possess? What can we gain from being a supporter or, a fan of you? What do we gain?
I think you gain connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think you gain validation at times, inspiration. Um, you gain what you want from it.
Mm.
That's part of it too, right? It kind of
Mm-hmm.
depends on where you're at, what you're looking for, why you listen to it. Because I mean, I think every artist that's part of it. I have people that down my music like hell
Mm.
too. I
Really
do.
interesting.
Yeah. There's like whether it's, but you got to understand that that's part of it too. You can't take
Yeah.
that personal. Like
Ever.
that's something I don't even know. I don't even know who I remember who I heard say that, but like you got to be okay with people having negative opinions and not understanding and not wanting to understand,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's you just put art out and like you don't have to explain everything. I mean, if people want to know, I don't mind explaining things,
Right. I
you know.
love
But
explaining things. Because a lot, I
there's
feel
been
like I'm a
people that,
complicated artist, so I agree with you.
yeah, yeah, I know. Me too. And but yeah, I have people that down my music and say it's trash and like, but I've also asked people, well, what's trash about it? And then I've gotten responses. I'm actually I'm actually working on a song about this, but there's been people that I've asked what's trash about it, and they're like, oh, you know what, man? It's not trash, man. I didn't even listen to it. It's actually really good, man. I was having a bad day
Mm,
because this happened and all that, and
yeah.
my bad. And I'm like, a lot of people's first instinct sometimes is to hate or to not even listen to it or to but again, you don't know what they're going through.
Like,
And
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
there's so many forces operating on us as people that I mean, you can't take that personal as an artist.
Yeah, you really can't. I don't know. Maybe they never heard Clear Spirit. That's the first song that I played of yours. And the beat automatically caught my attention. I'm like, damn, I love this beat. But when you started speaking, your voice automatically caught me. I'm like, you got a nice vocal, like the voice of an artist. You know what I mean? Like it caught me. Very nice voice on the track with the beat. And then I started listening to your words, and damn, I love a realist. I love music that is relatable. I love somebody that can like really make me vividly see things and also make me feel something, even if I'm not going through it. And I could relate to like that song right there was my favorite out of the songs. I had to run it back. I did put that down. I like that you were speaking on personal things like your dad being deported and police issues and things that people deal with. That really was a highlight for me because a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, I sometimes I say that, but some people think that the issues with police is just a black thing, or this is just something that black people go through in this country. By you highlighting that and speaking from your perspective, I was like, man, this is some shit that a lot of people need to hear. And it highlighted a lot for me. That was one of my favorite songs from you. But I just wanted to kind of hear you break that down or speak on it in general, like that song, Clear Spirit. I like that one.
I mean, I think the title mostly speaks for itself,
Yeah.
like what does it mean to be spiritual, right? Like, I don't know. I like, yeah, it's about connection to something higher than ourselves. I think that's kind of like a general message in the song. Intersectionality is something that I believe a lot in that, like, and not only like the struggles that we go through, even like the positive, the positives of a lot of our cultures that we can gift to each other and share with each other,
Right.
right? Cross culturally, across diasporas, across the world, um, and I guess I just try to, I guess by being me,
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of it's my way of doing my part of working towards that vision, and of also leading by example,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like sacrificial, and
Right.
that sounds weird. That sounds
That
weird as I
that's
say
true
it,
though. It's true. I know exactly what you mean when you say that.
but we all got it. We all sacrifice. Sacrifice is not this. It's not something that only prophets do, or only like large figures or whatever. Right? We all have sacrifice in our lives,
So true.
right? And so it's not like, hey, look at what I'm doing, everybody do what I do, as far as like being open,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm like, well, if you get something from me being open, right?
Yeah.
I hope so, because this is me, just I get something from me being open,
Me too. Mm-hmm.
right? So I hope that you do, and I hope that you get something from you being open,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so all I can do is put it out there, like the ideas, the feelings I have, the thoughts, the perspectives, the visions I have about things. All I can do is put it out there,
Yeah.
right? And just hope that it does something good for the world, for someone else, or even if it's just for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
deep. I honestly felt that so deep because like I used to ask artists a question like, "Hey, do you feel like with certain things going on in the world, do you feel like as an artist it's our duty to speak about these things?" And a lot of artists used to be like, "Well, it's your preference. I don't talk about it. I use my music as an escape for people to not listen to things like that or not hear about things like that." And
Mhm.
oftentimes I like to listen to a lot of the singers that or the artists that paved the way for all of us, especially the ones that made music for these trying times. The strange fruit and the different songs that people use to move mountains to let people know, hey, I'm against war or I'm against this what's going on in the world. I feel like a lot of times that put the government in positions to respond because music is so influential and it moves across so many different you know different things. So I feel personally like you'll hear my music, sometimes I'm just having fun, a lot of times I'm saying things that need to be said or that I
Yeah.
feel are very important to be said. So I just wanted to find out from you, like, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's our duty to speak on certain things, or how do you feel? Is it our preference, like everybody else says?
Yes and no.
Hmm.
I answer a lot of questions like that. So
Yeah,
even if you give me a close-ended question, I'm still gonna answer like open-ended question. But
yeah. I
I
know.
remain
I
open.
picked it up so far.
I remain open.
Yeah, and I love
Um,
that. I love honestly, you're never really I wouldn't say you're never really wrong, but it's never really a way for me to disagree with someone like you because you're open, and that's how we all should be.
See, you getting it.
Hmm.
That's what I mean, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, if it, I appreciate you connecting with that and verbalizing
yeah.
that.
That's
Um,
that's deep.
so I like that's why I like being an MC, and I like that a big like cultural origin of the hip hop culture was to make public service announcements, to speak on things, to say what other people won't, because
Right.
that's a cultural thing sometimes too. Like, because people look like they don't feel your music, that doesn't mean they don't feel your music.
Yeah.
Like, from being a listener and a fan myself, and even going to concerts myself, some people don't feel comfortable showing that they appreciate music. They don't know how to,
Mm.
right? And so some people don't know how to speak up. they don't know how to put it into words. They don't. So I feel like we do have a duty, but at the same time, you got to check in with yourself. Not everything that's why we have a duty, not
We,
me,
yeah,
not only me,
yeah,
right? If I feel like I have a certain duty, then I can do it. But if I'm tired and like I'm just surviving, like don't try to talk shit on me because I
yeah,
didn't make a song about this or that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
even if I've done it in the past, like you don't know what I'm going through,
yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
you don't know what I'm going through as a person. You don't know if I'm just tired. You don't know if I want to listen to others speak.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
um, and so yeah, we do and we don't, and so it's up to yourself. Like if it's not all on you.
yeah.
Do what you
It's not right.
can. Do what you can. If you're at a time where you just can't, or then you can't, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah.
Lovely. I love that answer. So what about Rocking a Hard Place? I like this one too. I love your music. Honestly, you gained a fan. But that's how it always is. Because
Thank you.
that's why I told you, like, I want the music first because I want to really take it in. I want
Yep.
to I
Yep.
want to learn you before I talk to you, because I could easily listen to your music 5 minutes before I interview you. But
Mhm, mhm,
am I really interested in your interview? Am I really bought into you? You know what I mean? So,
mhm,
okay,
mhm.
back to the song, Rocking a Hard Place.
Well, so you want me to break it down or
However you want
um,
to do it. You can just kind of give us just maybe a little background on the song, or maybe a thought process, or anything, however you want to talk about
okay.
it.
um see me personally, I have a duty to be myself, and that's just part of myself. That's part of my experience. That's part of like what I lived, and just uh and just connecting it to the broader themes, trying to connect like the immigrant experience to broader themes in hip hop and in rap, and just tying it to some of the visions of larger artists and that intersectionality, right? Like I have a line where I mention like Nipsey Hussle's marathon concept, and I apply that to the journey that a migrant goes through, an immigrant goes through in in uh, in a long, extensive journey, right?
Mm, yes,
Through obstacles, right?
right.
That's a marathon,
That is.
right? Like I know like if I had had the opportunity to sit down with Nipsey Hussle and I connected and I share that with them, that I feel like we'd be able to inspire each other in that sense.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so I mean, it's about human connection. A lot of us are always are between a rock and a hard place, but we act like we don't understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even about the whole immigrant thing, I'm like, you can't sit here. Okay, like you can't if you're a patriot, regardless of your skin color and all that, right? But let's say you're a patriot for the U.S. and you believe in laws and all this stuff, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can't sit here and tell me that you've never broken a law or thought of breaking a law, or if you weren't in the situation that my parents were in, that a lot of people in third world countries are in, and in um, South America are in, is besides the fact that historically the situations that a lot of people are in, the U.S. has played a big role in causing those situations.
Thank you very much. I was definitely going to say that, but okay.
Besides that fact,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell me you're in that situation and you're gonna let a law stop you from like surviving. You're
Right.
like, come on, you're gonna tell me you're not like fuck the bullshit about the legal and illegal, and
Right.
and then even like morality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about like like slavery was legal,
Right.
and like
Right.
it's like that. So that's kind of where I'm coming at the song, but I'm also want to be like celebratory,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not a bitter person,
Yes. Yes.
we're not down and out. Like we enjoy life and all that, and we hustle and we do what we gotta do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it is, and we're
And
proud of
I
it.
love that. I love that breakdown. So many people definitely need to listen to that, because, like you said, a lot of the issues that are caused in these third world countries, the United States did start that. And so, how it's like a spit in the face for you to say, I can't come to your country whenever you're the reason I have to leave.
Yeah.
Technically,
Plus, we run a lot of the cogs of this country.
we run a
Like
lot of the cause, even what's going on now, without getting too
yeah,
political. But I'm with you on
yeah.
that. And that's why I like your music, because it's deep. It's different from surface level music. Like you definitely will have to be, and I feel like you have to really be into what you're talking about for people to appreciate it. Because even whenever I speak on things like this, it doesn't get as much attention as what some of my fun music gets. Like I recently performed a song called Mortality, where I'm speaking from three different perspectives. It's like speaking from what goes on in the Black community with just like trying to survive, speaking from the Black on Black, the cops with, you know, the unarmed shootings, and also speaking from like warning a child that's going to grow up in this community about what they're going to see, you know, what they're bound to see. And I recorded that song maybe 2 years ago or a year ago, and it's been out and it's been streaming, but I performed it on 2 Saturdays ago, and everybody's like, what was that song? What was that song? So it really is it's long, like you said, it's timeless, it's long lasting, and I can sleep good at night knowing I got it out of my body. I don't really care about when they grab onto it. I know that I got it out. So I really appreciate the type of artist that you are, because I get you and I see you and I hear you bigger than anything. So I love, by you breaking that
And
down,
I
that made me
appreciate
appreciate that song a lot more.
I appreciate you doing doing that yourself as well, because I that inspires me too, right?
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of artists, and when I see them doing generally the same thing that I'm doing, kind of, right? And I see people that it could be a different situation, experience in their art, and I'm like, wow, they put themselves out there, like, well,
Like, wow, yeah.
whether they're dealing with like whether it's racism, whether it's some family issue, and they're dealing with shame or body image issues, or like homophobia, or like all these obstacles that we deal with as humans, like or these just these experiences that we have, regardless of the experience, like I love to hear other people being vulnerable.
I love it too, man.
That sounds kind of, I don't know, that sounds funny, but yeah.
I know what you mean, because like I said, by playing your song back, I was like, damn, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what type of music or what was going to be the vibe. I'm always like ready to hear each artist, but whenever they came on, I was like, oh shit, it's very rare. Like, I was just speaking to my friend before me and you jumped on the interview, and I was like, his music is good. I was like, it's rare where I really, and no offense to any artist that listens to this, but it's rare that I listen to an artist that I'm about to interview and I really, really like the music. It's very rare. I'm no offense, but your music is the type of music where I'm like, I'll be listening to this after. You know what I mean? I'll be listening to this even after me and you interview. There's a few other artists that I still listen to even way after the interview, and I'm like, because this is artistry that I respect to a different degree. I respect everyone, but this is a different degree. So you there.
And thank you, and that means a lot, because I respect artists like that.
Yes, everyone has that moment. Yeah, everyone has artists that they kind of hold to a different degree. You respect everybody and what they do, but it's some artists that you hold to a different degree. Yes. Okay, well, let's get into The Gathering. This one is featuring, what artist was this one?
Oh, with Planet Asia, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, Planet Asia, The Gathering. So tell us a little bit about this song. Hit us with it.
This song is actually is kind of one I had in the vault. Planet Asia is one of the local artists that, and I say local with quotes, because I think you can be a global and a local artist.
Yes, you can.
There's a local kind of there's a local community oriented aspect as an artist that you can maintain when you go global, and I think it's important to maintain that local that love and appreciation for
sure,
the community.
Yeah,
right. And so in the immediate, like, Fresno area, when I started making music and Sanger, not only did like one of my homies that passed away, rest in peace, to Firm, my homie Firm, but he had a Planet Asia poster of Planet Asia's first album, the grand opening, on his room, and I remember in his room, and I remember him telling me, oh, he's from Fresno, and just listening to Planet Asia, I'm like, what? He's from Fresno? So then, like Planet Asia, Fashion, like Diego Red, a couple of the artists from Fresno that I just regarded highly. I held up on a higher level,
Right.
and yeah, and he's someone I've been wanting to work with from the jump. I've worked with him on a couple songs. I have other songs that I've done with him that I'm gonna be releasing a little later too.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's just an honor just to be able to connect with him and for him to be down to work with me.
Yeah.
And it kind of it brings it around it brings it full circle
Yeah, full
for
circle.
me
Yeah.
to work with an artist that I respect on that caliber.
That's amazing.
Um,
And that's everybody's wish
Jonathan,
and goal.
and it's just some MC shit,
Yeah.
it's just it goes back to this MCing. This is kind of, I feel like it's kind of a song that says a lot, but it also doesn't. I also sometimes just want to play with words, and like I feel like it's very hard for me to not say anything in my music. I always say something. It always ends up going deeper, even
Yeah.
when I don't try to. But I consider this one of my more playful songs, where I'm not saying that much. I'm just kind of playing with words and just being an MC.
I
But
like that.
I guess I'm still speaking on some things in there.
Yeah.
Keeping the whole and the concept of the song comes from like ciphers and emceeing and jams and sessions, and like I experienced those in my own way, not like how they did like in New York, and like
Yeah.
when hip hop, what we know is like American hip hop, was starting.
Yeah.
Um, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've experienced it in my own way.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it's just that gathering that hip hop wasn't widely accepted and allowed, and like you couldn't rent halls out and do it. Like that's why I was in public spaces in the park, and they
That's
had to
right.
use powerful lamps and all. So it's like it still has that fuck the police, the
Yep.
institution,
Mhm.
the government, and it has that flavor in it too, because um part of being an MC is, for me personally, is I always have that challenge in mind, that challenging perspective, and that standing up perspective,
Yes.
and just time, yeah, and then just being straightforward about it and unapologetic about it. So
Man, because I mean that's why hip hop even started, honestly. It was stuff that needed to be spoken
yeah.
about. You feel me? It was people that didn't have a voice that created a lane. And that's the reason why, like, I'm open to, like you said, we're open. I'm open to everybody doing it however they want to do it. But it's something about the people that have something to say. And that's the reason why I never really shy away from the music. I feel like I have two different types of music. You got the playful stuff where I'm just having fun, but the real true me is whenever I'm sitting everybody down and I'm preaching. That's what I call it. Every performance, I started off with, I want to preach first and then we'll have fun. I start off with my deep shit and then I go into my more fun, playful music, but I'm going to preach. We're going to talk.
Yeah. And I think that's one of Planet Asia's hardest verses on that song too. If
Yeah.
you kind of compare it as a standalone verse, and like with a lot of it, I mean, he has a lot of amazing verses. Like, he's amazing, right?
Yeah.
But I just love that verse by him, and it's so dope that it's on my song. So
Yeah, it is. Like, you're doing it. I love it. Tell us about current projects or past projects. What is the thing that you're promoting right now?
um what I'm just kind of promoting the music that I've been releasing recently. A lot
Okay.
of singles. A lot of them are tied to albums. I'm working on albums. Um, I just been kind of surveying and learning more about like the landscape, like the industry, if there even is an industry, like
Right, right.
um just how artists gain traction and do all that. So I'm in the process of I'm releasing singles, I'm releasing albums, but I'm gonna think of how to release them.
Mm,
And so that's I feel like that's another art form now,
yeah.
and I respect it as I feel like I can see it as an art form. I do think it's an art form to market yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to be creative about how you release your music. I
Very
do think
true.
it's an art form.
Yeah.
Um, but I also have been thinking a lot about the concept that art is not content, because they call a lot of artists or whatever like content creators. You have to create a lot of content, put out content, put out content, put out content. But actually, like Benny the Butcher from Griselda, I love the hoodie that he made. It says stop calling art content.
Yes.
And
Oh, I
so
love that.
and so I do think that I want to think about that stuff, but don't want to think about it too much.
Yeah.
And I want to have expectations, but not have expectations. Um, and so I'm in the process of just kind of evaluating how to release my albums, finishing up albums, singles, of evaluating it and not. So I'm
Yeah.
also really I'm planning stuff, I'm strategizing, planning stuff, but there's also I'm also just doing what I feel, right? Like
Right.
if I want to collaborate with someone, if this song hits me and I just feel like I need to stop everything else and do this, and then
Yeah.
I'll do that. But also, I also got a lot of personal work that I'm doing, like not only on myself. When I say personal work, I mean working on myself, but
Yeah.
also work outside of music
Hmm.
that it relates to the music directly and indirectly. So I'm also doing that as well, and I guess I'm just looking at it as if I'm working on other things, that's also like working on my music, because it's gonna allow me to set up my music the way I want to release it.
Right. Yep.
If I work on these other things, and they can support the way I release my music as
Right.
well.
That's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, so I got a couple albums I'm working on. I got singles I'm working on. Um, and it's looking like I'm gonna be releasing some stuff before the summer, but I think the summer is when it's gonna get the most heavy, where I'm gonna flood the streets. You
Yeah.
know, how artists used to say
Yeah.
back in the
Flood
days
the
with like the
streets.
mixtapes and all. Yeah, so I'm gonna flood the streets in the summer when they need it, when they're the driest and the thirstiest, when it's the hottest.
I know, right?
Really.
I'm ready
Yeah.
too. Like I want to use my platform to kind of let artists know that I'm down. Like, I'm down to push products and services and whatever you got going on this platform. So when everything's ready to drop, hit me back. Let's push it together. Like that is what I want this
No
podcast
doubt.
to be. I don't want it to be a regular podcast. I want it to be different, like a movement, a community, more so, you know what I mean? So let's do
I
it. Whenever
appreciate
you
that.
ready, let's push this shit. Let's get it out there.
Oh yeah, I'm down. I'm
I'm
down,
with
man.
it.
The more connections we can make, the more we can do this as one family, one tribe,
That's
and
right.
just support each other. Just support each other. I support everybody that's being themselves,
Yeah,
and I get a feel for people, and I support what they do, and if I fuck with you, I fuck with you.
that's
And
right.
so yeah, man, let's do it. I'd love to continue to stay connected and
Yeah,
support
we
each other in the
are.
way
That
that we
it's
can.
just
I
it's
appreciate it.
incredible, man. It's incredible. I really feel like it was meant for us to speak. It was meant because there's no other way it would have happened. So I'm very grateful that we had this moment. Tell us, all of us, how can we support you?
So right now, you can listen to the music, you can stream the music, you can download the music, you can purchase the music. I'm gonna be doing another round of physical. I'm gonna keep physicals in play.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be pretty soon. I'm gonna be continuing to release physicals of the albums that I already have out, and then along with I have a vinyl in the works, and then um, physicals, so you can purchase those. Right now, I have the merch that I just put out, so you
Yeah, I
can
saw the
purchase
merch.
shirts. That's one way to support. Um, you can book me, connect with me. If if you want me to come out to where you're, to an event,
Hmm.
to your community organization, to your community events, to your concerts, to uh whatever it is that I'm actively doing performances right now. So You can book me.
Okay.
Like I mentioned earlier, right? I have different skill sets,
Yeah.
so we can do a lot of unique things. I always like to tailor my performances and my work towards what the audience is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, book me, purchase some music, purchase some merch, listen to the music, share it, definitely
Yes.
share it, right?
Yeah.
That's worth a lot more. If people don't know, like, uh I'm gonna quote the Grouch from the Bay Area on
Yeah.
this. He said illegal downloads free, but this rap costs money. And so that he did that in the era where people would download music illegally on, like, they were pretty
LimeWire
much
and all that
at,
stuff.
yeah, LimeWire, which were apps and software for those that don't know, where
Yep.
you could just download illegal music before there was even a YouTube and all that.
Right.
And so, now you could strip the audio from YouTube and do all that, but it costs money to make money. Everybody knows that in
Right.
whatever business. So music is a business,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it costs money to make money. You invest in yourself. So it costs money to make music. You invest in the music. So it costs money to promote and market your music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind being straightforward about it.
Yeah.
Um, but I would rather have my audience or whoever's listening to me or support me get some sort of investment from my music, right? And like, if they support my music and they share my music, I would rather have that connection than to just be paying money to Instagram and to these corporations,
So
right? Like,
true.
and that's cool, and
Yeah.
I do run ads and all that, right? But if I can get that level of support where we're locked in and we conversate and we build that relationship. I know a lot of my supporters by their first name. We've had
Yeah.
conversations. If I have supporters that want to have a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm not available at that moment, I could schedule a phone call with them and we can have a conversation. If they just want to comment on something or they want to tell me a story about what my music made them feel, and I want to hear it and I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so I've had some amazing conversations with some of my supporters, and I'm
That's
inspired
dope.
by them.
Yeah.
And so just having that level of connection, it's so valuable. Like, I feel like when you share my music, it's not just sharing it like you share anything else. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand how valuable, how helpful
So.
that is.
Mm.
Just to share it, pass it on, word of mouth, subscribe, all those things. But they all lead back to just, that genuine support.
Yeah.
That genuine support. And so, yeah, those are the ways you can support me. I'm on I don't know if you're gonna put the social media handles or
I'm
all
gonna
that,
put it
but
all in there, but let them know just in case they're driving and
okay.
listening.
Yeah, so the Instagram is currently CA Gentleman, so like CA like California and Gentleman, GENTLEMAN. The YouTube is Agent 559, all one word, no spaces or nothing. That's the YouTube channel. And everything else is really connected to there. I am on Spotify, I'm on SoundCloud, I'm on Bandcamp. And then yeah, Instagram is what I'm on the most, but you could there's an email on there to inquire about, collaborations,
Mm-hmm.
bookings and all that. And so
You're
yeah, just tap
actually
in with me on.
That's actually dope. Like your name is dope because I almost thought that you did that on purpose. I thought maybe you added the other letters in there and just made sure agent was in your name. I don't know. But even though it's Cali Gentleman, I see agent before I see Cali Gentleman. That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's some deep shit.
that's that's what I do.
That's dope. Cause I was like, damn, I wonder what his name is on Instagram, like what this stands for. But I saw agent in there. So I was like, okay, he has his name in there. But now you're like Cali Gentleman. I'm like, I never even looked at it like that. That's dope. Sorry. I'm just
Yeah,
like a person that's
that,
crazy. Like the word,
that was not,
you're
that
deep.
was not that deep, but like, I mean,
You're
yeah,
deep.
I meant like I was like CA and Gentleman and agent, CA agent, California agent. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's all these, but
Like it's not like super deep, but if you weren't
yeah,
looking,
yeah,
and then
that's what I was
like
saying. That's what
how
I
it
was
just
saying.
caught me, I'm like, damn, that
Mhm.
it came off hella deep because I didn't catch it, obviously. But yeah, that I'm like, damn, that was fire. But yes,
Yeah.
that's his Instagram name, and I'll have all of his information in the description, of course, so you guys can hit the drop down box, and I'll make it easy for you to copy and paste just in case you suddenly forgot how to spell. But we'll have all the information in there. Anything that you want to leave us with before we go? Like, this has been a wonderful fucking interview, by the way.
Thank you. It's been wonderful for me.
Yeah.
This is like a really good way to start my Friday evening. So I appreciate you. I want to say thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time. Like time is so valuable, and just taking the time to connect is so important. And so I guess I'll leave everybody with that. Take the time to connect with people, and take the time to connect with yourself, and take the time to connect with me when you get a
Yes.
chance.
Yes.
Check out my music, and tap in with me. Um, just like you aspire to create a community with your podcast, that's what I want to do with my music. And I just want to create the type of relationship with my um I don't even know, followers, supporters, whatever you guys call it,
Yeah.
whatever you consider yourself. And you don't have to consider yourself any of those things. Just consider yourself someone that's familiar with me, that knows you, that's tapped in with me, that's connected with me. You don't have to use those words, because
Yeah.
sometimes those words have,
Yeah.
things that come along with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll leave y'all with that. Connect with yourself, connect with others, and connect with me.
I
And
love it. And
with the
connect with the Get to Know
podcast.
Me podcast.
Subscribe to the podcast, the Get to Know Me podcast. Get to know me podcast too.
Thank you
So
so much. I always tell my guests, continue spreading love, peace, and positivity. Stay safe, but stay dangerous, because we have to be on our P's and Q's.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Matter of fact, scratch that. I know y'all enjoyed that. Adrian is incredible. Like, everything he had to say was so sharp and on point. And I mean, he's a very open person, like he said. I loved talking to him, and just, I mean, his aura, the vibe. You can tell that he really loves what he's doing. He enjoys this music stuff. And people like that, passionate people like that, those are my favorite type of people. Y'all already know I've said that a million times before. uh those are the people that's gonna go far in this every time. They're gonna have a long game in this every time, because they would do it with their eyes closed. They would do it for free. They would do it no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Not saying they'll do it for free, but I'm just saying they love it. And he lives this. I can tell. I can feel it. I can tell by his page and the way he runs himself. Because we're a brand. At the end of the day, you're a business. Your name is a brand. You become a business. And just what he stands for and the things he talks about, I know that he's gonna go far. And when you take yourself serious, everybody else eventually will. But sometimes it takes for you to actually show them before they join, the movement. And that's what we're doing. We showing them. We showing everybody. So shout out to Agent. Thank you so much for coming through to the podcast. You're welcome to come back anytime. We want to push all your future endeavors. I know we talked about you having some albums and things like that. So whenever it's time for those to drop, come back, please. We would love to talk to you about those, and get some backdrop on some of the tracks and information, some behind the music. Feel free. And for all the listeners out there, make sure y'all follow him. Go stream all of his music. Go buy the merch. Everything. Share this podcast episode. Tell people about this podcast. Whatever you got to do to support, do it. Because supporting, honestly, it doesn't cost a thing. If you don't have the money to support, then you don't have the money to support. But that doesn't mean you can't support. You can share this interview. You can share his music. You can listen to his music. You can buy something. Well, not if you can't afford it, then you can't buy something. But like I said, there's other ways without having to spend any money at all, because supporting someone is free, absolutely free. And you're already doing it, honestly, by listening to this podcast interview. If you've made it this far, then you've done it already. So thank you for that. Just in general, we appreciate that. As for me, just to tell y'all a little bit about myself, like I said in the beginning, my name is BizZy BalBoa. I am the host and creator of the Get to Know Me podcast show. So make sure you come back every Saturday. Like I said, I have different artists on, different people on in general, and we talk about all type of subjects from, finance, history, Black issues, Asian issues, white issues, whatever issues you want to talk about. I just like talking to people on here. So whatever y'all want to talk about, that's what we talk about. But mostly artists, mostly music artists. Whenever I do have guests, and other Saturdays it's just me on here rambling. So you can come on here and listen to some rant raves if you want to. But normally I drop a few gems. I say a little something on there. So y'all just tune in. And also I do music. So I'm a recording artist. I do music. I'm out of San Diego, California right now. I'm also nominated for a San Diego Music Award for Best Hip Hop Rap Album for my project that I dropped last year, Purification. So you can stream that on all major podcast platforms. Well, not podcast platforms, but all major music platforms. Like Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff. I also have another project, Disturb Tranquility, and a few singles out too. Not that many music videos, but a few visuals that you can see on YouTube. So subscribe to that. I got Big Love LLC, which is my merch. You can go on www.biglovellc.com and you can shop till you drop with me on there. What else do I do? Part of Activated Podcast out of San Diego, California, which is an activist podcast platform, and we air on Sundays. We haven't been doing any episodes lately, but you can also follow them on Instagram, which I don't run the Instagram, but they post a lot of great stuff, a lot of good information if you're into, real news and real things like that that's going on in the world. And I do a little bit of everything, just to put it out there. But I'm originally from South Georgia, and my music is a little bit all over the place. Like I said in the interview, I make music that's hype, that's turnt, that's twerk, that's deep, and talks about real issues. And I'm all over the place with it. I record music the same way I listen to it. I write music the same way I listen to it. I listen to all type of genres, and that's what I make, all type of genre music. So it just depends on what you want to listen to from me, whether or not you're gonna like whatever song from me. Basically, a lot of people like my more turnt music. Some people like my more real issue music, real when I'm talking about something. So I wanted to leave y'all with a track because we did talk about mortality. So I wanted to play that for y'all before we got up out of here. But please follow me on Instagram, BizZy BalBoa, BizZy BalBoa. I'm on Twitter now, BizZy BizZy_BalBoa, and TikTok, all that stuff. You feel me? Every app, I try to be a part of all of that stuff. So follow me, subscribe, do all of the stuff. I'm a little tongue tied right now. I've been talking for a long time, been doing a lot of interviews, so I apologize for that. But thank y'all for coming through. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for already following Agent, following me, subscribing to Agent, subscribing to me, all of that. We need all of the love and support. Thank you for tuning in. Come back next Saturday. Continue spreading love, peace, positivity. I'm going to leave y'all with my track Mortality, and I'm out. Peace.